Good morning, I hope you're doing well. Ever since I was little, the Aprilia RS660 has always been my dream motorcycle. I just remember watching all of these exhaust clip videos, just absolutely dreaming of riding one day. Well, fast forward to today, 10-15 years later, and I've actually still never ridden one. But I was nonetheless still very excited when Aprilia announced this 660 version. Because as some of you may know, the RS660 by now, it has 200 horsepower, which is, let's be frank, pretty insane and absolutely not usable on the streets. While this 660 version has around 100 horsepower. So in my mind, this should deliver some of the excitement of the RS660, but just in a lot more usable package and in a more, let's say, license-keeping fashion. So yeah, that's what we're going to find out today. Take the opportunity to watch this beautiful sunrise, get out to some beautiful twisty roads before they get too busy, and I finally do the stereotypical Italian thing where I take it for some coffee, of course. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you along from my experience on this 2025 Aprilia RS660 factory. Beautiful twisty road, all to herself, because it's still quite early. Oh. And the first thing you immediately notice is just how good and exciting this engine is. Oh my god. It has just the most amazing induction noise. And a quick shifter, when you're riding a bit faster, it sounds crispy. It gives like a little fart. And in these bends, the suspension is so freaking amazing. Because this is the factory version, it has the upgraded Olin suspension. And I honestly think it might be the best handling motorcycle I've ever ridden. And although this is very firm, it gives you so much confidence. It's crazy. It's so freaking stable. And because it is the 660, you do get to play with the gears and go up and down the ramps and enjoy that engine, enjoy that quick shifter. It also feels very light, because it is. It's 180 kilos. And you notice that when you're pushing it around, low speed maneuvers, but also through these corners, it just feels small and light and agile, easy to throw around. Now, some of you may recall, I rode the Yamaha R7 a couple months ago, and that motorcycle left me feeling a bit cold. Well, I can assure you this much, the RS660 does not leave you cold. The engine is so much more raw than the CP2. It's so much more exciting, there's so much more character to it. The R7 was an excellent training tool for if you wanted to learn how to ride quickly. But this is also fun and exciting and engaging. And when you do slow down your pace a little bit, you have this beautiful top yoke over here with the Aprilia logo on it and the beautiful Öhlins adjustable suspension. Also adds to the sensification, you know. I will say, I don't really like the switchgear. They're so chunky, it's incredible. I mean, I know there's ride-by-wire stuff in here, but for example, this left switchgear, it's just one big block of plastic. And it's so contrasted by the rest of the beautiful paint, and again, this top yoke and the suspension and the nice TFT dash. To me, it's just a massive eyesore. But I do think that Aprilia has done a very good job of capturing the spirit of the RS660 with this parallel twin engine, with the induction noise, with how exciting it feels to ride, with the way the quick shifter pops. And when you are just pulling around town like this, the engine has a lovely rumble to it. It feels almost Ducati-esque in the way it idles. But I do have to say, when you're just riding around town, it does get quite a bit of attention. Probably because of this paintwork. The bright fluo red with the black and the big wings. It certainly has some presence to it. And all the people I've shown it to have absolutely loved the looks of it. And that's good, because it also makes you feel special a bit, you know? Which I think is one of the key things when you're riding a super sport is it should feel special. It should make you feel like a cool guy. So on the highway overall it's pretty comfortable. I like the fact that you're leaned forward just a little bit. The windscreen is pretty big, so you can tuck behind it to get some wind protection. Cruise control again, very nice. I will say the engine is very smooth at these speeds, but if you start to go a little bit faster, so around 130 kilometers an hour or 80 miles an hour, the mirrors get so buzzy. It feels like a bit of an Italian thing, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I could do many kilometers on this bike. The seat is actually quite comfortable. And yeah, it's just a pretty competent cruiser, surprisingly. Excellent sandwich over there at Dito Deli. First time been there. Friendly staff, excellent, nice strong coffee which I needed after getting up at 4:30 this morning. And lovely focaccia sandwich. So yeah, if you're ever in Amsterdam, definitely recommend that place. Not sponsored, but they were just really nice. Ooh. Yeah, around here the stiff suspension on the factory model with the Olens is definitely becoming apparent. You definitely notice every single speed bump. Oh, the tank could use some tank grips because I keep sliding forward. So my, what's the nice way to put it? My man parts, they keep sliding in towards the tank. So if I do want to have children later on in life, I'm sure it's going to be harder after owning an RS660. But yeah, the suspension is fully adjustable. So if you want, you could of course dial it down and make it a little softer. But yeah, honestly, I'd probably just live with it. The handling is so amazing on the twisty roads. And just make sure you brace yourself before hitting a pothole and you should be fine. Alright, so this is the Amstel Dike. It is a river that goes through Amsterdam, as the name might suggest. And this is pretty much where all the rich people from Amsterdam live. Because it's 20 minutes from the city center, but as you can see, it's a beautiful surrounding. You have a lot of space, so in a minute I'm sure we're gonna encounter some pretty insane housing. Okay, so my fuel light just came on. I filled up this morning and I haven't ridden that far, so yeah, the fuel tank on this bike is definitely not the greatest. These are the best corners. New tarmac. Shame about the poor visibility, but hey, what can you do? Oh yeah, look at these houses. Very nice. Let's see how big this tank is. It was almost empty. It was reading 50 kilometers of range left. No, 70. So yeah, let's see. 7, 8, 8.5. Are you serious? Wow. 8.5 liters from basically empty to basically full. So yeah, maybe a 10 liter tank, 12. I hope it's a 12 liter tank. That's nothing. So yeah, it's rating 250 kilometers now, and not quite full, but I mean, looked kind of full to me. Oh baby. And today I've noticed on this RS660 I just keep adding little side routes and detours to my route, and I'm avoiding going home. And I think that's just the best sign you can have. That's the best way you can tell you absolutely love a motorcycle. And you know, when you park it up, do you look over your shoulder? Do you look back? And the Aprilia passes all of these tests easily.
Alright, so I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you about the riding position. So I'm 185 centimeters, and I think it fits me quite well. As you can see, the leg room is not bad. Seat height is a little bit taller than usual, but that's normal for a sports bike. As you can see, I am leaned forward just a little bit, but the bars are definitely not too low. They're quite wide, so definitely not too bad. And I think, hello. And I think overall it just strikes a really nice balance between comfort and sportiness, you know? It's not too uncomfortable, but definitely nice and sporty. And now I also wanted to take a second to talk about the looks. Because everywhere I've gone and everyone I've shown this bike to has absolutely loved it. And personally, I'm no different. I think the wings are maybe just overdoing it a little bit. I think the RS660 also looked fine without the wings, but you know, that's just the way of the world these days. And one other criticism I have with the styling is that if you look at it from the side profile, so like this, I think it could be raked forward just a little bit more. Right now it seems a little bit flat, especially because they have a lot of visual weight in the front, as we designers like to call it. Like the fairing in the front is so bulky, and you have the wings now as well, which adds to that even more. I just think the rear ride height could have just been a little bit higher, so it should sit just a little bit more like this, and then it would have been basically perfect. But I mean, honestly, other than that, I just think it looks sensational, especially in this factory colorway with the black and the red. So yeah, what do you think of the looks? Do you prefer this or the previous version without the wings? Alright, so as you can see behind me, the sun is setting. It's the end of the day. Sorry, I got a burp. And I think it's about conclusion time for the 2025 Aprilia RS660 Factory Edition. Here in Holland, this thing costs, brace yourself, almost 16,000 euros, 1.6. This is pretty expensive. Here in Holland, this Honda CBR 600RR costs 2,500 euros less-ish. And there's a truck coming. So yeah, compared to the competition, of course, this does have the Öhlins suspension and the Brembo brakes, which are definitely very high quality. As I mentioned before, I think this might be the best suspension I've ever tried on a motorcycle. The brakes also work very well, but it's, I think, almost 3 grand more than the base RS660. And to me that just makes a lot more sense, at least with these pricing schemes. That being said, I have honestly fallen in love with this bike in a way I didn't necessarily expect. But this thing just has such a characterful engine, it's so much fun to ride, and it hits that sweet spot of power just perfectly, where you can open the gas, open the throttle, go through the gears, enjoy it, enjoy the sound, enjoy the quick shifter, but you're not going to do crazy illegal speeds. And I think that's the biggest upside compared to an RS-V4 actually. So has this quenched my thirst to ride an RS-V4? Well, obviously no. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm so surprised by this bike and I'm so happy I've ridden it. And I'm kind of guided for getting the fish, you know, I don't want to hand it back. So that's a very good sign. But yeah, at the end of the day, my childhood dream bike has always been the RS-V4 and it will always stay that way. If you know anyone who's got an RS-V4 is willing to let me ride it, please let me know. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please have a lovely day. Be kind to yourself, ride safe, all of the good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.